everyone, it's Karli Reese and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a book collection video because many of you guys have been asking for this video. You get to have a little sneak peek of my bookshelf back here. I will be posting a room tour soon, and if you haven't been keeping up with my channel, I just moved into a different bedroom and so many things have changed. I didn't even have this bookshelf in my old room and I love that I have it. These aren't even all the books I have. This entire part below is full and there's some stuff on the bottom as well. And these aren't really books, those are just like about tarot cards and zodiacs and stuff like that, so I'm not going to be sharing those. But if you're curious, you can see all the names right here. Basically, if you haven't been keeping up with my little room renovation, you can watch the last couple of videos and my room tour will be coming up soon if you are interested. In today's video, basically I'm just going to show you all the books that I have. I'm not going to go in depth and explain the books because I feel like that's going to take a very long time, and personally I haven't even read all the books and some of them I don't even remember what they're about. The reason I decided to do this today is because a lot of the books that I have are for the most part popular or young adult, and usually when I am looking for books, sometimes I go to TikTok to look for like inspiration and stuff like that. So I thought this would be a good video idea because it is like inspiration to people who are maybe trying to get into reading or maybe need some more book suggestions, you know? So I do have a lot of books. Currently I'm getting back into reading, but I took a very long time. I just started getting books probably like almost a year ago. Right now the book that I'm reading is Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover, and it's actually over there, so let me go grab it. So this is the book that I'm currently reading. It is Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. I have a Colleen Hoover section right here, which we will get into that first, but I would recommend this book. While showing these books, I'm going to explain the reason I got them because I feel like I need to explain some sort of thing to persuade you to buy them. So we'll start with my Colleen Hoover books. I mostly got them all for the same reason, simply because the author is Colleen Hoover, probably the most popular author right now. I guarantee if you are into reading, you have heard about her on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, literally anything on social media, because that is where she basically got popular. She's been writing books for quite some time now. I will say because of TikTok, I believe that's why she got popular. So here's Ugly Love. The cover is so cute. And now for my Colleen Hoover collection, I'll just start and go through with it. I've heard very, very, very good things about this book. In my opinion, I think this is probably like one of the most popular Colleen Hoover books. Again, if you're into reading, you have probably heard of this book. Obviously, I got it because Colleen Hoover, and I've heard amazing things about it, and I already pre-ordered It Starts With Us, which is the sequel to this book, but it won't even get here until October 18th. But a lot of these Colleen Hoover books I haven't even got the chance to read because me and my mom kind of just went on a Colleen Hoover spree, and we literally ordered like all of them. Like I'm pretty sure I just got like half of these like last week because we want all the Colleen Hoover books, both of us, so we both pretty much have the same books, but we have our own copy because obviously we want our own. So next I have Too Late, also by Colleen Hoover. I feel like I can't go into much explanation about these because they're all by the same author and I have yet to read them yet, but I'm still going to just show them to you. This one is called Heart Bones. I love this cover, it is so cute. So all the books that I'm actually showing you right now are standalones, which means that like there's just one book, like it's not a series. This one is Regretting You. I did not hear of this one until like I researched into Colleen Hoover, but Layla I have actually heard about from other people and through TikTok. Then we have Confess. My mom just recently read this and said it was so amazing, so I would recommend this to you guys. Reminders of Him, which I think is the most recent Colleen Hoover book that came out, and my mom, when she read this book, went through and explained the entire story beginning to end. So I'm kind of waiting until I forget about it so like I can read it again, because I swear I already read it based off what my mom told me. So I'm gonna wait to read that one for a while because I already know the entire story. November 9th, and sadly I have the new cover. The old cover is so beautiful, it's very fall-like, which makes more sense for the title, but I have the newer version. Also a very well-known book, I would say. I've heard about this one a lot before I got into Colleen Hoover. This is the most popular Colleen Hoover book by far. I've heard about it the most, which is Verity. So this book is actually marked as like very much age mature, so just thought I'd throw that out there, but I've heard so much about this book. So now these are my series books, even though I don't have all the books to the series. So I have Maybe Someday and Maybe Not. I still need Maybe Now, but I can't find the original cover because Colleen Hoover is changing the covers soon, and I already have these two, so I'm waiting till I can find like the original cover because I don't want one of the books to have the new cover. But yeah, this is in a series. Then Finding Perfect, which is in a series, and this is actually the 5th book. So when I bought this, I didn't know it was in a series. I just thought it was like a small book, and eventually I found out it was the 5th book to a series. But there's new covers coming out for this one too, so I'm waiting for those to come out so I can get the other 4. So finally, that is it for just the Colleen Hoover section. I hope I explained enough to persuade you, but all I have to say is right now I'm reading this book and it was immediately so good from the start. So I would just recommend Colleen Hoover to anyone who is trying to get into reading. I recommended a Colleen Hoover book to my friend the other day, which literally was this book actually, and she read it and now she's like starting to get into reading again, which is what she wanted. So I would literally recommend it to everyone because every person my age, I swear, that reads loves Colleen Hoover. I've heard so much about it from so many people from just like at my school. All right, now moving on to my other books. So firstly, we have the Summer I Turned Pretty series, which I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about it because the show just came out. So I have actually had these for like a couple years now. I think I read them my sophomore year, and I didn't even bring them up into my bedroom. They were downstairs until like the show came out and I watched season 1, and I literally forgot reading them. So as soon as possible, I'm gonna read book 2 because I'm so curious what happens. I actually got these 2 books recently. They are a series. There is a first book and a sequel. The first book is called This Coven Won't Break, and the second book is called These Witches Don't Burn. The reason I picked these books out is because I'm into like crystals and tarot cards and stuff like that, and you can literally see on the cover there's tarot cards. So I just thought it would be something right up my alley. So if you are into like kind of similar things, I feel like these books would be for you. I've heard amazing things about this series. The first book is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and the second one is Good Girl Bad Blood. So I'm pretty sure the third book is called As Good as Dead. I feel like I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I've been waiting to read this series for so long, but the thing is I won't start it until I have all 3 books. The problem is I only like paperback books, and the third book is only out in hardcover right now. So this book was recommended to me from a very good friend of mine. I'm pretty sure she read it like a year or 2 ago, and she gave me her copy of the book, but I never ended up reading it, so I got my own. So this book is about OCD actually, and that is something that is interesting to me just because like I like to be knowledgeable and like educated about like mental illnesses and stuff like that. So I feel like when it's in book form, it's very easy for me to read. So I feel like I can learn a lot from this book, so I can't wait to read it. So this book, I guarantee a lot of you know from school, Speak. I don't know if you were ever forced to read this, but I had to read this my sophomore year of high school, and I actually really enjoyed it. I remember writing an essay and I got like a 98% on it just because I love the book so much. And then recently I had watched the movie and I was like, honestly, I want to read that book again. So I ended up reading it again. It's very short, so if you want a quick, good read, this is a very, very good book. Also, if you were big into reading, you have probably heard about this book on TikTok, Girl in Pieces, a very, very sad book. And typically, a lot of the books that I read do kind of have to do with more sad topics like mental illnesses or suicide or something along the lines, just because that's typically what I'm interested in when it comes to reading. This is a very sad book, so I will say trigger warning. There's actually a trigger warning on many of the books that I'm showing here today, and I will try my best to remind people about that. So here we have Two Can Keep a Secret. This is actually by the same author as One of Us is Lying, and I want that book, but they're freaking hardcover. So I haven't gotten those books yet because they're hardcover, and I'm gonna try my best to find a paper copy, even though I don't even think they sell them anymore. But I was very interested in that author. I've heard great things about One of Us is Lying, so I decided to try out another one of her books. I will let you guys know what I think about it. I don't know if this is fairly new or not. The Virgin Suicides. So the cover is so beautiful. You're kind of like expecting it to be like such a pretty book, but there's a lot of things about it that are just like, I don't even know, like just weird. But based off the title, I will say trigger warning, suicide is involved. But yeah, the cover is simply so freaking beautiful. This book is really, really good, but a lot of crazy stuff happens and some things about it are just so weird. So keep that in mind. So I'm going to show these next two books at the same time. We have My Dark Vanessa and A Little Life. Both of these, major trigger warning. I'm just gonna say it right off the bat. More so this one than this one, but both of them, just Jesus. So this book is about an affair between a 15-year-old girl and like a 40-something-year-old teacher. That's literally all I have to say. I've yet to read this book because I'm pretty sure it's literally like almost 800 pages. I just opened the book. Holy crap. I've heard is very sad, and like I don't think I own a book that's more of a trigger warning than this book. I've heard insane things about this book, and that like don't read it if like you're sensitive to certain topics. I'm not sure what those topics are, but before purchasing this book, please do your research because I've heard some stuff about it. Next up, we have The Outsider by Stephen King. And the reason I chose this book is obvious. I love scary things. Stephen King, I mean, come on, he literally wrote It. I would love to read It one day, but I don't know if I can literally read 1,000 pages. But yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory why I bought this book, because Stephen King is literally the best like horror author there is. I would say this is like the Ryan Murphy of authors. We are back to the same author as Girl in Pieces. Strictly the only reason I bought this book. I mean, I have heard some things about it, but it is How to Make Friends with the Dark. Simply only bought this book because I like the author. So one day I went on a trip to Target and I got both of these books because they seem interesting. This one is The Girl Who Knew Too Much. Looks very interesting based off the cover, and this one is There's Someone Inside Your House, which is a Netflix film. And I'm all about reading books that like after I read it I can go watch like the movie or show to it, just because I like to see like everything I have pictured in my head like come to life. Like it's just so cool. So this book is insane. Quick explanation: this girl like shoots her husband in the face and like kills him, and then like she doesn't speak anymore. So that's where like the silent patient comes from. So obviously the reason I bought this book is because holy crap, that is insane. Yeah. So this is actually the first book I read like when I recently just got back into reading. I recommend it. I mean, I don't really remember seeing like much review about it from other people, just because I bought it and I read it myself and I never really researched it. But I thought it was such a good book. So I haven't read this book, and the reasoning for that is because I've heard so many people say they cry. And even though you know they're both gonna die at the end based off the title, you just like have so much hope in you the entire time that they're not gonna die at the end, and they still do. So I'm waiting to read this book until I'm like mentally stable. Another book I randomly got from Target, How She Lived, How I Died. I mean, sometimes I just read the back and simply am like, to be honest, this sounds right up my alley, and I buy it, and the cover looks awesome, so that's why I bought this. This is Where It Ends. I actually did read this book in like 2 days, quite some time ago. It is about a school shooting, so trigger warning. I would not recommend reading this book if you feel like that is a sensitive topic to you. Some parts do like kind of go into detail, I would say. I can't really remember much of it because I did read this book quite some time ago. I've heard from some people they really like this book, and then I heard from other people they really hate this book. I like it, but I don't love it. The way the book is set up, it's kind of cool because it's set from like 4 different perspectives of like 4 different people. Then she was gone. My mom actually made me get this book when we went book shopping for the first time. I've had this book for forever but have yet to read it. Looking for Alaska. So I've seen snippets of the show, and that's why it like caught my attention. And I know people who have watched the show, and I've also heard about it on TikTok. And it's pretty short, so amazing. 14 Ways to Die. Me and my friend both have this. I'm kind of waiting for her to read it so I can like read it at the same time, but I did get this from Target recently because literally 1 killer, 13 victims, 1 million views. That literally caught my attention instantly. So this book it's kind of a funny story. The cover is insane. So I actually did read this book and I did like it. The one thing that makes me excited is the main guy from the show Atypical on Netflix is like the lead of like the movie of this book. I've yet to watch it, but I need to. So I only have a few books left. Holding Up the Universe. I literally got this book yesterday, and the reasoning for that is because I watched All the Bright Places, which is the movie, so I decided not to get that book. Heard great things about this book, and it is written by the same person who wrote All the Bright Places, so that's why I decided to get this. All Our Hidden Gifts. Me and my mom looked this up on Goodreads, and once again it's a book about like witchy things, all kinds of that. So I thought it would be right up my alley. So these are the last 2 books I'm going to show you. I do have a couple more, but they're just hand-me-downs from my mom. So like I don't even want to recommend them to you because I didn't even pick them out. And like I don't even know what they're about. Hate You Give, I've had this book forever. You know, very popular, very great book. And You'd Be Home by Now, which is the same author as The Girl in Pieces, and this one's actually hardcover. So based off the cover, I feel like you can assume that this book does include drugs and rehab, I'm pretty sure, and addiction and things like that. I could be wrong, but I'm almost positive. So trigger warning on that, but reason I bought it, same author as Girl in Pieces. So that is it for my book collection, and I know I have a lot of books, but I like to buy books at a faster pace than I can even read them. So I have a lot of books I haven't read yet, but I have every intention to read them. I just struggle to find the time on my hands, but I can't wait to read every single book on this bookshelf. It literally gets me so excited thinking about having every single one of those books read. But yeah, those are all the books I own though, and to be honest, I've heard great things about all of them. I would never buy a book if I heard bad things about it. So if you were looking for some young adult books or simply just some other books, I hope this gave you some inspiration. And also please keep in mind, you know, the books that I said trigger warning on. I hope I didn't miss any, but please research books before you read them if they look like they're about like a sensitive topic. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.